Sorry?
Ready? Go.
Yeah, ready. Okay. So if you remember, we were the group who... sorry, not the other way around. Who cannot use technology. We were the group who did this kind of research about, occasions and, what were actually the problems. And we actually came back here and we didn't really have anything that we could, do. And we just started chatting and we came up with some ideas, and then we were like, okay, is it research or is it the idea and gut feeling? And we thought, okay, we don't have time, so let's go with, sorry, important prop, let's go with gut feeling. So we then thought, okay, we really like this idea that the other group had with this kind of value proposition, so we kind of stole that in a way that we tried to come up with a value proposition. And we called it ... because we didn't know what it was called. It's a fashion mentoring website for UK women between 30 and 50 who have low fashion confidence and are time poor and need fashion advice they can trust. So very long-winded, but hey. We then worked in parallel. One group created a persona. Some other people kind of did these kind of thinking, what could it be called, the thing that we have? And we had these words, fashion groups, fashionista, online experience, shopaholic, nothing to wear, discover fashion, peer styling, blah, blah, blah. But then all of a sudden we realized there is actually, I'll just do this, is a word that's the opposite of fashionista, which is functionista, which is people who wear functional clothes rather than fashionable clothes. So we then decided, okay, let's rephrase this whole thing and this whole value proposition and call it Fash the Funk. It's a website where functionistas can meet fashionistas to get more confident in their fashion style decisions. So we have created this persona, who is Sally Howlett, 32, who says what we all have said before, at least the women in the room, I've got nothing to wear. She is an IT PR consultant, she needs new stuff, new clothes. She feels she has no fashion sense, never had anything useful in her wardrobe. Thinks her feet are too big, her hair is too thin, her bum is too big, and her breasts too small. She doesn't like going shopping with her girlfriends, so she's really frustrated with the whole shopping experience. Her goals and needs are, she's ready for a change. She wants help to find several outfits for her new job, but she wants somebody to help her with that. And there is usually like these fashion stylists, but they're really expensive, and you don't really want to spend the money. So she heard a friend talking about Fash the Funk. So she's going to that website, and we also have this other persona who is Rachel, a fashionista who is exactly the opposite. She loves fashion. She writes her own blog. She, doesn't mind sharing her opinion with her friends, telling them what to wear and what not to wear. And she would actually get thrilled when people ask her for fashion tips. And she would be thrilled if she could make money from that as well. And she wants to build her fashion profile, I guess. So we followed through Sally Howlett going to the website.
Okay, so we just wireframed up some interface stuff, and so the homepage would have to be used by both of these people, Sally and Rachel. So Sally comes on, what are other people saying about what they need? So is that who I am, what I need? Okay. I'll find a fashionista, press the button, create my profile. I can also check out who the fashionistas are, and then if Rachel's having a look, she can actually say, "Oh, that's me. I can join this site and I can help other people find fashion."
So this is how Sally will create a profile. Her name, my problem is, my need is, availability, and my budget. Time, and then we're going to recommend some fashionistas for her. So Rachel's always a top hit and all the stuff. And then she says, okay, I want to speak to Rachel. And so Rachel has her own profile. This is her love. This is not happy customers. So she presses contact me. Then she gets a form, talk to Zoe. And she explains her problem about Zoe. And Zoe gets Sally's profile. So she can see her profile and say, okay, I want to actually help this person, and then they two meet up, and they go for a shopping experience together, and they actually get this lovely bracelets. Much fun because they have to actually identify each other when they meet. So yeah, so that's it basically.
Yeah, and we were very time poor, as you can tell.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any questions? Or not?
So when it sounded like things were going slow, and then like by the end it was like you guys couldn't keep up. So at what point, where was that inflection point where you felt like it started to just work?
When you came and said, like, there's 1 hour left.
Just running out of time.
Yeah. I think one of the problems we had were we were a bit unstructured. Like everything was a bit manic. Everything was a bit like, we're doing this. Like, are we doing it together? Or are we doing it separate? And it was actually quite good to, at several points, to get the mentors in and say, look, we have this idea, but we're not really sure where we're going. So we started with Kim, and then Kim said, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then we had a bit of a direction again. And then we had another manic moment where I think one of you came by and you were saying, oh, why don't you think about what screens you need? And we were like, okay, yeah, we have a task. So it was a bit like good to have this kind of input, I guess.
What would you do differently? What you just talked about the process. You learn if you would do it again in terms of the process. What you just explained, Anya. What would you?
Maybe more of a step-by-step plan.
I would just have a mentor the whole time.
I would charge you for that.
You mentioned the research versus kind of gut feeling, and that's kind of what you went with in the end. But it sounds like you did do some interviews and some research. Is that kind of, in terms of what you've come up with in the end, now going back and looking at the research stuff that helps you kind of validate?
No,
Not really.
I think what happened was that through the things, we actually came to talking about our own experience that we had. And so the girl was with us this morning for a very short time, I forgot her name. It's and we talked about, I actually had this thing where I got a voucher for, a visit at a stylist, and what I thought was really good about and what was, not so good about and stuff. And she was like, oh, yeah, and I go to this website and it would actually be helpful. And so I guess that's kind of how we came then to this idea. So I think the research was good for getting us talking and giving us an idea, I guess.
Or to do more research.
Yeah. So how would you change?
More questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you change your process based on that? Would you start discussing more and then do research, or how would you change? I don't know.
I don't know if it could change the process because, well, we could make it better, but our findings were that the biggest, we were looking for problems, right? And we got size and fit. So Kim said that's not really a tractable program in like one day.
If we probed a bit, if we knew that was the biggest problem, we would have okay, what's the next biggest problem? So we would have probed a bit more.
But we would like to
research.
think that the size and fit might actually get somewhat solved with this as well, because you've got like a person that can understand your shape and everything, and yeah. So, yeah.
Thank you.